Spark partitioning and cores and distribution. So basically, the way for Spark to distribute the data and to work on it in parallel is to take the input data and split it in between partitions. What do we mean by partitions? Do we mean folders? Do we mean files? Do we mean computers? So we mean folders. It could be the same computer, it could be multiple computers, but each partition takes a folder. Now, what does exactly a folder means? If we get some input data that is arriving at us and we decide to partition by user ID, which is not a good partitioning, we'll discuss it soon, then each user ID will receive a folder, a separate folder. User ID 1 would be in user ID 1 folder, user ID 2 would be at user ID 2 folders. If we have 20 users, then we are going to end up with 20 folders, a folder for each user. And then when you have your computation, then Spark would come and try to run a computation. It would utilize each core on a specific partition. This means that if we have 100 cores and we have 20 partitions, then 80 cores would be idles because each core would go to a specific partition, not to multiple, and would take this partition and start running with it. And of course, it's not only the core that is running on the partition, it's the combination of the core and the memory and all the peripherals on the computer that is running, but the specific mapping is from one core to a partition. This is how the distribution works. So why did we say that a partitioning by a specific user ID is not good? Because we could have a user ID Elon Musk and then 20 other users that are not used so much. So you already see that, as we said, that a user ID maps to a folder, then this means that this folder called Elon Musk, which is our partitioning based on user ID, will have so much data. So it's not that good partitioning. If we already knew that things would get distributed well in between the user IDs, this could be good. Also, this partition will continue to receive more and more data unless we split it to subfolders, but this is the base folders. This is why we usually partition the naive way, the immediate way, the standard way, the most common way is to partition by date time. Because it has never happened, I think, at least to how I see things, that 1 hour, if we partition by hour, so we have 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m., and daytime, right? So we have the date and the hour, the date and the hour. Each such daytime combination of an hour resolution will take a partition, or each such day would take a partition. So 1st August would be first folder, 2nd August would be second folder. So basically, this is how we partition by data, and it has never occurred that 1 p.m. took 8 hours, like 1 p.m. is Elon Musk, and 3 p.m. took only 1 hour, right? All the hours are equal, all the days are equal, and this way, on one hand, we know that all our partitions would be would be at least in general. Of course, there could be much more traffic in 1 p.m. But we didn't get into a situation when 1 p.m. is Elon Musk and it is receiving so much traffic that the core that works on Elon Musk is going to receive so much traffic that it won't be able to continue working. And this is why the basic structure is to first try and partition by date time. This is the most naive way, the standard way, the common way, in order to have our partitioning work on the resolution that is shared across everything. And of course, this does not mean that we cannot repartition, downstream services cannot repartition by a different field. So basically, the first thing that works on the data is probably partitioning by date time. Not always. If we knew that later on partition needs the data by user ID for some reason, it knows that it can handle in any way the skew in the data, then okay, let's move ahead, or let's say that it does not have too much data. This downstream service that is working on the Spark data has already filtered the data, and it knows that it won't have such gigantic data. So it could move it to one core, do everything in memory, or partition by a field that is convenient for him. We do not block him from partitioning by a different field But there are also other methods other than partitioning. We could do sorting and bucketing, but this is a topic for a different episode.